Hello, everyone. This is Tammy Fisher within the Doll World, and we're excited to be here today. And of course, I'm here with my beautiful, wonderful co-host, Miss Georgette Taylor.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Miss Georgette Taylor. Today, we are going to introduce you to the William Grant Still Art Center Doll Exhibition Group. They do an annual Black Doll exhibition. And we're excited to talk to them about the exhibition and its history and, just let you all know. So we're going to reach out to Ami, who is the person who's over the exhibition. So Ami, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Tammy. Hi, Georgette.
Hello.
Thanks for having us here. I asked some of my colleagues to join us too. I'm the director of the William Grant Still Art Center in Los Angeles, California, in South Central, specifically West Adams. I have the honor of working with some of the most talented and amazing people. So I asked some of the people that are really excited about the doll show every year to join us.
Thank you for having us.
So yeah, we can have this, we can nerd out on dolls, all of us together.
Would you ladies like to introduce yourself so that people can know who you are and your exact position? You want to start with you, Michelle? Okay.
Yeah. My name is Michelle Taboo, and I am a doll maker and a doll collector, and I also help curate exhibits at the William Grant Still Art Center, and I curated the doll show in 2018.
Thank you. Sophia?
Hi, I'm Sophia Gabaldon. I am the office manager at the William Grant Still Art Center. I've been that for almost 5 years, and I've been able to see 5 wonderful doll shows.
Great, thank you. And last but certainly not least, Miss Monica, will you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Monica Bailey, and I'm the education coordinator at the William Grant Still Art Center. And I help to bring our programs, like as far as workshops and other music and art classes that we have there. I do a lot of outreach to the community and just make sure that, we all try to make sure that everyone has access, like online. We're doing a lot of things online. So we're constantly making sure that everyone can see these beautiful dolls and so much more. There's a lot that happens, but thank you for having us.
Thank you. So are you doing things online? Is that your response to COVID, or do you normally do things online?
Direct response from COVID.
Okay. Yeah, we're seeing COVID impact so many people and just our everyday lives. Okay. Thank you so much, Monica. So Ami, I'm going to jump back to you. Will you please tell us the doll journey of the exhibition? Like, how did it begin and how did you end up here? And I'm sure the other ladies will be joining in.
Well, I'll tell you about the center's Black Doll Show. This is
Okay.
The 41st year. We just opened the 41st year on Saturday. It's really,
Wow.
That is the longest running annual exhibition in the city of Los Angeles. There's no other exhibition that has matched that. So that tells you how important a Black Doll Show is.
Yes,
that
41
community comes
years.
together every year, makes sure that it happens. From my understanding, I wasn't around when they started it 41 years ago, but because I'm only 25, as you can see.
Exactly.
Yes, we are all 25.
Yes.
Okay.
This whole
And holding.
here is 25.
25 and holding.
Yeah. So it was started by Cecil and Miriam Ferguson. Actually, they approached Hakim Ali, who was the former director of the William Grant Still Art Center. He was the first director of the William Grant Still Art Center. And Cecil was a curator. And his wife, Miriam, was there helping him with all of the exhibitions that he would put together. So I guess one day they were watching Art Linkletter and they saw on Art Linkletter a video that was a sample of the Clark's doll test. So, they were devastated, they were upset. And through that, they came up with the idea to reach out to their friends to be in an exhibition that was the Black Doll Show. And get this, almost none of the dolls look like a doll. right? So it was actually their friends who were all part of the California assemblage movement, which is now like historically
Okay.
so significant, right?
Uh-huh.
So all these amazing artists that were part of the assemblage movement, so like John Outerbridge, Charles Dixon, Teresa Tolliver, they were all in the exhibition. And that was the first Black Doll show. And it was a huge success. Everybody wanted it again. And we had, you know, we're a facility of the city of Los Angeles, Department of Cultural Affairs. I think at the time it was Rex and Parks. But basically, people came together and we had a nonprofit board that would kind of oversee stuff. And the nonprofit board was really involved and was active making stuff happen. They're called the Friends of William Grant Still. So they jumped on, and every year for many, many years, they would put on the exhibition. I think I started in 2005. So the first show I saw was Lemons to Lemonade, it was called. And we had the place was packed full of beautiful dolls and beautiful artwork. It was almost overwhelming. And I remember right in the center, we had a giant kind of like installation of the collection of Maxine Waters, because she's a Black doll collector. And throughout the center, we had things that were like paintings, murals behind the dolls, so the dolls looked like they were at play. And it was so exciting to me because, I mean, as a child, I was a doll collector. Only thing is I was in Iran and there were no dolls that looked like me. So all my dolls were the standard little dolls that you get in the stores. And sometimes, my family would make dolls, but they had, flowers and, they had the fabric on them. So it was just really exciting to go into a show that had so many shades of brown. And even myself as an Iranian, I fit in the show. It felt so great, So each year we would put this on and all of these artists from all over would come together, and I got to know the artists. And then some of the artists started to make dolls for me that looked like me. And it was just so touching, because that was just the mission of so many of the artists, just making sure that everyone could get joy out of dolls.
That's wonderful. That's a really beautiful story. Yeah. And you said initially the dolls were not dolls, they were assemblage?
Yeah,
so
the first year.
Okay, so for people who don't know what that is, do you want to,
Sure,
do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah, so assemblage, basically there was a movement that was really strong in California that was really in the neighborhoods that I guess we call South LA or South Central LA, but it was, just basically from Compton north into a neighborhood called Mid-City. So that whole neighborhood, which was a huge neighborhood, there were people who were basically picking up items that they would find on the street or recycling things and just finding beauty in that and putting the items together and creating amazing art out of it, And so obviously one of our most famous is John Outerbridge, and who just not too long ago passed away, our huge treasure. Betty Saar is another one, but basically people were just making treasures out of trash, not always, not every artist actually used just straight trash. Charles Dixon was really sculpting with wood and metals. But Teresa Tolliver is a classic example where she would eat a lobster or buy a box of candy, and then she would keep all this, she'd clean it up and then turn it into a beautiful figurative sculpture. So the idea was that if Timothy Washington, for example, who's an amazing assemblage artist, was in the exhibition, and he would use these spoons, wooden spoons, or various types of spoons, and he would make kind of figurative objects out of that. And, John Outerbridge was using shovels. So it was exciting because basically it also referenced the history of Black dolls in America, right? And also it was really linking to contemporary international art. So not only was it looking at a history that is not being canonized, of how Black dolls were banned throughout the nation and the Caribbean, right? But then also plunging into the future and creating a whole new narrative. And that was really exciting. I'm still in awe of a lot of these artists that are, are now internationally renowned and are becoming very much canonized. But they were in our show. They were in our Black Doll show the very first year, which is so exciting. But each year the themes would change. So different curators came up with different ideas. Some would use assemblage, others wouldn't. Others really wanted, delicate collectibles. So just depended on the curator.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I'm also, me with all my projects, I'm also an assemblage maker. So we will have one of my pieces in here so that people can see them. And like you said, it's sculpture, and it's also like collage. It's a 3D collage. Yes. So those are the way that
you
just described it so perfectly. No problem. Thank you. Now, Michelle, you have done some of the curating, so we'd like to have you tell us some about what that experience has been like with curating.
In 2018, I curated and I chose Black girlhood to focus on. And I included both of my children at the time. So there's 3 separate gallery spaces at the William Grant Still Art Center. So I gave each kid one, and I said, this is the umbrella theme. You can do what you want with that. But I used my space, which was the rotunda, which is this large round shaped room, to focus on joy and nostalgia. So, the smell of your mother's bed sheets, ashy knees, getting your hair braided, getting your hair done at the kitchen stove, all of that different stuff. So we had dolls doing those things. Oh, and double dutch, of course, that was the name of the exhibit. So there were dolls playing double dutch, hanging from the ceiling, and there was a doll on a tricycle, a big wheel rather. There was just lots of stuff to kind of remind you of the time before the world starts criminalizing us, hypersexualizing us, and all of that different stuff, because it happens to Black girls at an earlier age. And so my son in his room focused on inclusivity and including all types of Black girls, gender fluid, disabled, albino, various shades, various levels of ability, molested, not molested, just whatever. Like, we had to put a trigger warning on that room because there was actually a doll that had experienced molestation, and it was pretty graphic, I would say. And then my daughter in her gallery focused on social justice. And I actually, when I chose the title, was kind of trying to run away, or the theme rather, was kind of trying to run away from that and just focus on the joy. But she was like, I went to my first protest at 4 years old. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's part of my Black girlhood. So I can't ignore it. Like, it needs to be in the show because it matters. So her room included a whole bunch of just, there was like a podium with multiple dolls, and they had like their fists raised, and they had Black Lives Matter. And I want to say there was like a Colin Kaepernick situation in there too. And then she also, because I was so on her about how intense it was getting, she was like, well, I'll include the possibilities too, like of what we can become, how we transmute the pain and, turn it into stuff. So on one wall, there was like Gabby Douglas, Willow Smith, like dolls that are things that you could aspire to be. So, and I think Misty Copeland too. So yeah, just a whole gamut of dolls. There may have even been an astronaut. It's so long ago, I can barely remember. But yeah, so that's what I focused on the year that I did it. And it's been fun ever. Like, I never wanted to leave after that. The staff is so super supportive during the process. Like, I was braiding giant braids out of ropes with beads to hang from the wall, and they're carting stuff in and paint, so it's just really a team effort when you're curating, and they're very supportive of the vision and like getting it exactly how you how you wanted it, because I wanted people to be able to hopscotch into the exhibit, like that was the entrance way. So Ace was there and he like painted the hopscotch boxes on the ground. So yeah, it was very like, I was pleased with the outcome.
Nice. That's really
Very
nice. That sounds
nice.
really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who's Ace?
Ace is another staff member. He
Okay.
typically painted our backgrounds, and he's an artist. He's a street artist also.
He's
Okay,
a
cool.
street artist. He goes by Ace Born. He goes by, but
Ace
we've
B-O-R-N,
had him
Ace
work with
Born.
us
Okay,
since
okay,
he was
cool.
a tyke, and so he's been with us for a long time.
Nice.
Okay,
I love that.
that's very nice. How old were your children, Michelle?
Oh, at that time, I want to say Ella she's 11 now. She's about to be 12, and that was
Wow.
2018.
Young.
So 7 or 8.
Wow.
Wow. Talking
And
about being
then-
woke.
I know, right?
She doesn't have a choice.
Because I'm looking at you and it's like, you don't look like you're too much older than a teenager, so.
No, I'm
All
old.
these children.
She's like, I'm old.
Now you blessed, baby. You
And then
blessed.
my son was maybe 12 or 13 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Really woke children.
Nice. Yes, very nice.
It's
We
cool to have them
recruited
involved.
Michelle as a parent, actually. She came to our center, and then her daughter Ella was 2 and showed off a book to me that was so beautiful, that had figurative characters in it, almost like the book could have been in the Black Doll show. Actually, it was so beautiful.
Nice.
And Michelle told me that she made that book. She handmade that. It was a cloth book. So amazing. I was like, you have to work with us somehow. So, Michelle's also taught dance at our center too.
Nice. Very, very creative.
Yeah,
Love
I
it.
love quiet books.
Monica was also one of our parents that we stole from another career. Yes, Monica was a parent that would come to our center for classes for the Black Doll show. And we stole, she had a job in Hollywood production.
Wow.
From that. So
And
she's
so
been very involved in actually making sure that this Black Doll show is spread throughout the community.
Yes.
Making sure that people have access to it. But a couple of things I would love to talk about today if we can. I definitely want to talk about the theme of this year's show at some point, which was actually it was concocted by Sophia. But I also want to talk about how we believe in the history of Black dolls. We believe in Black dolls that are being created, but we also believe that there needs to be a legacy that it continues. So that's why we do workshops. It's very important for us to do workshops. And Monica's always really responsible for making sure the workshops happen and that the word is spread so as many people as possible can come. And whether people become some become like legit, it's all legit, but some people become legit doll makers, and then others become artists of various forms. Some become assemblage artists. There are some that become video artists, but somehow it infuses in their practice, whatever they're doing, or collectors or whatever. But the consciousness and importance of Black dolls is definitely present, and Monica's definitely been involved in that.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Monica. Yeah. We love what's going on here. So, Sophia, why don't you tell us about this year's show and how you came up with the theme? And
Sure. So basically, all the staff, we're all included in trying to come up with a theme, specifically because of, COVID. Prior to, we would have, someone come in and come up, with a show. And this year, we're throwing around ideas, and I was thinking of something like, those memes that started a couple years ago, like Pass the Brush, where it was like a before and after, really interactive, really fun. And I thought that something like that would be really fun for doll collectors, doll artists, children, anybody who's ever wanted to be a part of the show that hadn't been able to before. And then also they get to curate their own video, do what they want to do as a before and after. And I just thought that something like that would be beneficial, specifically because of the time, and it's something that would just bring fun like being able to remember to play with your doll,
Mhm.
play with your doll. And so that's kind of what I was thinking about, just trying to do something interactive, very inclusive. It could have been, even, for older people who don't really know how to use Zoom or make a video, be inclusive and ask like grandchildren or children or your neighbors, anybody that would want to help and participate. And that was pretty much what I was thinking about.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And
A
so,
great opportunity too, like you said, to incorporate so many more people within the community because, because the platform is so much easier to do, to have people come on board, whether it's from here or from Mexico or from
Right.
Hawaii, wherever it is, you have a
Mhm.
bigger range of people that can share their dolls with you. So yeah, it was a great
And that happened,
choice, a
actually.
great way to do that. Mhm.
Yeah, it was really lovely. We got doll artists from all over that have submitted. We got some children from the Dominican Republic that so cute.
Oh.
That I mean, we have included artists from around the world, but it is much easier. I mean, I won't say that we didn't get some pushback about doing things technologically. We certainly did, because a lot of people are ready to go back in and experience things in person. The city has not given us the okay to go in, and actually with the new variant, I have one of my closest friends actually got COVID, and she has had the booster even, but she got COVID. So we don't want to put that risk out there, especially with so many people in our community not having access to healthcare. So, so we are, just being cautious, really cautious about that. And we did allow, we let everyone know, look, we will do whatever it takes to help you because we want you to be involved. So I did spend many days on the phone all day long with people just walking through, okay, so you click on this and then you open this up. Yes. We did a lot of that, but we know that not everyone has access to digital devices, and we're definitely sad about that. We can't wait to go back in and have because also it's just so magical being around the dolls, right? It's so magical to actually be present. But we're doing our best. And it was so fun, actually, the before and afters. We said, you don't have to be literal. You don't have to, be like not so dressed and then get dressed up. It can be things like, let's say you have a wooden doll, maybe you show a tree first and then you go close up to the tree and then you come out and it's turned into a doll or something, or even with paper dolls, you could do that, right? So we thought about that with a lot of stuff, and we were like, whatever before and after works for you. So we got some creative stuff, some creative before and afters.
That's great. And I see that you have a doll from one of our queens. That's a Stacey McBride Irby doll.
It is.
Yes, we interviewed Stacey.
I love her dolls.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
And Stacey's significant. You were talking about legacy.
Yes.
And she, with her sewing style dolls, she was part of that Mattel history with bringing Black dolls to the forefront. So yeah, we want to make sure that we do a shout out to our beautiful sister Stacey.
Absolutely. And she is so generous with us. She participates, she spreads the word. She's been really lovely. It's been really good working with her. And actually this generosity, I think, that we speak of is something that we see with all of the artists that we've worked with. Because the artists are not working from a place of artists, I said. Collectors, different situation. But I mean, even the collectors are generous in a lot of ways. But I think the collectors are the protectors and the artists are the givers. So a lot of the artists just want to make sure it continues, that they bring joy to people, that they're I mean, like when Michelle was talking about the artist that made the doll that was a molested doll, she said, all bases should be covered, and there are children who've gone through this. I mean, imagine, it's traumatic to even make a doll like that, but she did that so that whoever went through that experience is comforted somehow. And, that is extreme generosity. So when we talk about an art form that comes from a place of pure love, I mean, this is really it. This is a genre that comes directly out of love.
Yeah. It's always good to see people in the community, get together and showcase dolls, because I think it is just important for history, for them to know where their dolls come from, why people create this type of doll, so they get to see, not just the doll, but the artist, and talk about the passion and why they created something like that. So I think it's beautiful that this doll show has been going on for so many years, and the fact that a lot of people probably still don't know about that. So I wanted to piggyback off of that and ask Monica, since she's the one that does a lot of the spreading more of the information about what you do, and what do you do to let people know what they do? How do you go about sharing that information with others? Because that's important too. If nobody's sharing that and spreading it out there, nobody knows about it. So
the outreach of the community, different events, there would be something at the park, or there'd be a music festival, or maybe even a education seminar, and I would go with flyers and a presentation, or at the local schools in our area, trying to basically pull and reach those families that otherwise wouldn't be able to access these programs, because as schools don't include arts and music like they did. Like when I was in school, it was just a part of the curriculum. You went and you played every instrument, you sang all the songs, and you did art and home ec and all that stuff. So it feels good when I'm able to go inside the schools and do these presentations. The parents are really excited, and a lot of our classes are free or very low cost. So that's important too, especially being the community that we serve is mostly Black and Brown. And that's a lot of what we do. And there's a lot of kids that are super creative and just like different, and not able to, be around anything that kind of brings that out, or even encourage them to push that envelope. And at the William Grant Still Center, they're able to do that. And I love seeing that. All the kids that I've seen come through there in the last few years that I've been there, it's just like, wow, some talent.
That's great.
So,
yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah. And then
really
also
wonderful.
shops, like I miss seeing all the kids create like just amazing dolls. I mean, the adults, from seniors, adults, babies, like everybody comes and just is able to build what their vision of, the dolls are. So
Doll looks like, yeah. That's great. That's great. I love that you have that doll making part of at the center too.
We actually have a great workshop coming up January 18th with Dr. Cynthia Davis.
Yeah.
And then we have one around King Holiday. So and then we have one close to Valentine's Day. People
that's great.
get the opportunity to make gifts. It's actually so much more meaningful when you make a doll for someone and give it to them. I mean, so much better than going to the store and getting something that was on sale and everybody else has.
Yeah, that's
great.
beautiful. Yeah. I
great.
want to piggyback off of something that both Ami and Monica were talking about. Ami spoke about the importance of legacy. And so, Monica, I'm assuming that you have a lot to do with legacy, in that you are the education coordinator. So how is it that you all are able to add to and support and protect the legacy of Black dolls?
Well, a lot of the doll artists that I've met since I've been there, elders like Pat Shivers and Floyd Bell, Dr. Davis, they, in creating the dolls and the importance of their dolls, making sure that when they're in the center, when we have curated shows, that they're not so much catered to, but that they feel important, because otherwise without our particular doll show, they wouldn't probably even be as known. Maybe they would, but not amplified in the way that we make sure that they are. We're always making sure that we not even just advertise, but just whatever we can to assist them in their doll making outside of the center too, and just making sure that they're seen, having being online is important to them, because we're reaching more than we would reach if we were actually in the physical center. So just online, like those things are important definitely for legacy and foundation, and to continue to, the next generation for doll makers to inspire. Yeah.
I think collectors are also very important in that sense. And our community has a lot of collectors. And, as you know, with many, many communities that are not being historicized, people take it upon themselves. And some people see them as pack rats. We don't. We see them as keepers of history. So we dip into archives of many forms. And of course, dolls are a form of archive. So like I said, that spirit of generosity is less with collectors. That's because the collectors are there protecting and making sure that this is something that stays around for a very, very long time. And we're also trying to constantly cultivate collectors, so people understand, okay, you want to buy something, buy some of these dolls. If you want to invest in something, invest in a history that needs to be documented and needs to be celebrated. So, the archiving of this form of art, of this genre and everything, it's actually, dolls are so rich in terms of, when we talk about a layered art form, they're so rich, right? But if you want to invest in local doll makers, because you're going to get that richness. And a lot of times with, if you get a doll artist, many years ago, I got to meet some doll artists in Oakland when I was traveling, American Black Beauty Doll Club. And, you get beautiful dolls that are, of course, speaking to the world, but you also get a taste of localness and what's going on in the context there, right? So you get all of these layers in a gorgeous little doll. Like, how incredible is that? So we also try and encourage people, and we don't sell through our center. We're a city facility, so we don't sell, but we facilitate the sales. We say, all right, well, we'll give you your phone number, we'll give your information to the artist, and they can sell directly. So the artists also are able to make some money off of it.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah. We've spoken to a number of people and are connected to a number of people through both through that Black doll, the American Beauty Black doll, and also some of the people who've done some, some of the elders who you're speaking about, like Floyd Bell.
Right.
Floyd Bell is probably more well-known in France than he is in America, which is, interesting, because he's in the Louvre. His dolls are. And it's important, from speaking with him, we know that it's important that he is here and he's part of our history and he's part of who we are. And it's important that we honor him here. We know Floyd Bell's legacy is going to continue because he's in the Louvre, but we need to also embrace him and love him here. And you were talking about some of the dolls that people make, and with the American Black Beauty, we interviewed the lovely Stacey Monique, and her dolls are just crazy. I mean, it has dolls where you've got a mother doll doing child's hair, or somebody cooking and they're making greens. I mean, she's really doing an excellent job of capturing us and sharing us as we are. So yeah, there's some great artists there.
And we're constantly looking out. We just connected with the New York Historical Society, and we're going to send that information out to people. And, Kisa Davis, talking about shout-outs. So Kisa Davis was our education coordinator before, and she was so incredible. She grew up in the neighborhood. And Kisa is now in Detroit running programs at the Heidelberg. And so now we're reaching out to Kisa to have connections with Detroit, because Detroit's doll show is
doll shows, yes,
phenomenal too. So we're hoping the Department of Cultural Affairs sends us all one day so we can all go to the doll show in Detroit. But wanting to connect with artists in Detroit too, because the language that's spoken through artists is so incredible, just through dolls. And I love how doll makers adore each other and then also try and one-up each other. It's so amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is really interesting when you're in that space to get to see how they interact with each other too, and how they do appreciate each other's work, but at the same time, it's still that having. It's kind of like it's not really competition, but you still always are thinking, well, wow, she did that. That's amazing. Maybe I could do this with my doll, or maybe I could find a better way to showcase, the type of work that I bring to the table just by looking at another artist's work. So I think they
Absolutely. It's
feed they
very
everything
healthy.
everybody feeds back off of each other,
Very
and
healthy. They up each
yeah,
other's game. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely that's the truth.
And we're
So,
always looking for proposals from curators as well. So if anyone's
okay,
interested in that,
okay,
we're looking for collaborations. If anyone wants access to the artists that we work with that are putting on shows, all of that. We're not proprietary in any way. The only thing is we have wanted to do a book for many years, and we've been doing the research for it. Our department has not really supported our endeavor in doing this book that highlights the Black Doll Show at the William Grant Still Art Center. But we would like to work with the publisher, and our idea was to have a book that is critical, and I don't mean critical like putting down, but critical as in like philosophical, that looks at the history of the community that brought together the Black Doll Show. So really celebrating, because we celebrate collectors, we celebrate doll artists, but we had people working on the Black Doll Show for many, many years, a lot of times women
nice.
who were completely uncelebrated, and they're shrinking violet. So to this day, Bobby Campbell, who's been involved in our Friends of William Grant Still, she would, if you try and give her any credit, she turns the other way and changes the subject. So we want to make sure that this book really looks at how a community found it so important that they continued this exhibition for 41 years, even not just with the lack of support, but sometimes sabotage from entities. So even through that, put this on. And we had reached out to academics and community members and everyone that was going to write on it. So if anyone has contacts at Duke University Press, we would contact us because we still want to make this book.
That's great that they really have done that for 40 years,
Yeah,
they
that
still.
is great.
And imagine, I think a lot of times when people think of an exhibition like this that goes on for 41 years, or an art center like ours that continues and serves so many different people, everyone always wants to reach out to rich people. They're like, well, reach out to, Hollywood is right here and there's all these rich people. We don't need to. We have our community, and they're everyday people that, are not wealthy, that just always show up. And that has been really moving to see that throughout the years too, to have just, so many, there was one lady in the community, she didn't even ever have a car. She just always walked around. She, would go shopping, and she would stop by at least once a month. And we had a little donation bin, and she would put $50 in there, and she would say, make sure you buy the kids some healthy snacks. So you imagine, support like that is really where it's at. I think we want to talk about, how wealthy people run things, but really community runs stuff, especially with our center.
And that's really powerful, because we go back and we look at when Obama was running. I think that they were saying, like, was it the average donation was $20, or there was some huge percentage of the money came in small amounts. And there is a lot of power in the individual. And just like you're saying that some of the ladies who came to work for you came in as part of, it was a love effort. And then it moved on to their being there with you now and supporting and uplifting you. Yeah.
We're going to be doing some spotlights on our Instagram with some of the artists, and an artist that we became familiar with a few years ago, Adrienne Franklin. She has the handle Hand Knit Gorgeous Dolls. And they are gorgeous. They are so gorgeous. When we first saw them, we were just blown away. So I think she's going to be our first feature on Instagram Live, and she's going to take us into her studio where she works and show us her process. So if people want to tune in, we have a couple of handles on Instagram, and I'm sure my colleagues will correct me if I don't say it right, but our Instagram handle is at WGS Arts. But our Black Doll Show this year, the platform is at Black_doll_magic_WGSAC. And if you follow that, you're going to be able to, you know, on a regular basis, we will be uploading the video content that we've been getting, that it also includes some biographical information on the artists, some information on their dolls, and maybe some other gems, some other photos that they've sent along to us, whatever we have. But you know, there's no deadline. People can still make these videos. All they have to do is do a before and after, and, you know, black out the screen at first like that, and then, you know, jump back. So everyone can do this, and they can still send it over to us. It's not too late.
Oh, that's good to know.
Reel. Michelle edited a beautiful reel that we have up on that Instagram page as well. So if you can get on Instagram, please do. But we're also uploading to our website and everything else. Contact us because we have all the information we want to share. We don't want to hoard all this.
Right. How long is the doll show running exactly?
Well, officially until, did we say February 19th? Officially until February 19th. But then, but the videos on IG will stay forever or as long as we can. So
that's nice. That is so very nice. And so when do you start posting the videos?
I'll let Michelle take that.
Okay.
We've started posting them. We're trickling them up little by little. And then the longer compilation is already up. So you can look at all of the ones that made it in like before the deadline, but then there's still like I'm adding, as people send them, I'll edit the two together, the before and the after, unless some people are able to do it themselves and they'll send it to me completed. But if they're not, that's fine. They send me the two and then I put them together. And then when I put them on the compilation, we used a mix from another colleague, Peter Woods. But when I put them on Instagram one at a time, I'll just choose a song that I think fits the vibe of whatever's going on in the video so that it can kind of be varied up. So yeah, they'll be trickling in all throughout the year.
Okay, that sounds wonderful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So thank you, ladies. We have really enjoyed meeting you, and we're excited to share this video and to introduce our audience to you, and hopefully some of our audience members will also submit some videos to be part of your show. So if someone wants to know more about you or what you're doing, or how do they reach out to you?
I think the best way is the website. And maybe Monica or Sophia, can you all read off the website?
Yeah, it's wgsac.wordpress.com.
Do you have just a general Instagram for the center?
We do. It's at WGS Arts. And we also have a Facebook page. And if people want to, they can call our center. It gets directly sent to my cell phone. So you can call 323-734-1165, because I know not everybody wants to email and some people just want to call and talk, and you feel free to call and just talk. We'd love to talk about dolls. So go ahead and give us a call.
That's beautiful. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
it's for having us on.
Thank you for joining us and sharing your journey.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
Very, very great. Very great to learn about this, the Art Center. So I'm so glad that you were here with us in the doll world. We really appreciate your time. I really appreciate everything that you guys are doing for keeping, history, legacy, and community alive. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.